Okay, welcome back. This is 2013 question 5a part 3 and you're asked to calculate the dividend yield. So the dividend yield is one of those ones when you're asked to calculate it, you have to calculate the dividend per share first, because the dividend per share is one piece of information that you have to put into the dividend yield formula. So before we calculate the dividend yield, we're going to calculate the dividend per share, and I'm just going to call it div per share. And dividend per share formula is the ordinary dividends, ordinary divs I'm going to say for short, divided by the number of ordinary shares. Number of ordinary shares. And the number of issued ordinary shares, if we were to be absolutely complete with it. Now, because it's dividend per share, and this is going to be, the ordinary dividends is going to be in euros, but our answer is going to be a very small amount of a euro. We like to convert our answer into cents rather than keeping it in euros. So in order to convert it into cents, we'll multiply by 100 also. Okay, so let's continue on. The ordinary dividends. We saw in the last part that the information it gave you regarding dividends is just the total amount of dividends paid out, which is 25,000. But we also said that if you want to know what the preference dividends are, all you have to do is look down here in the balance sheet, and if it's 5% preference shares, 100,000, you just have to get 5% of 100,000 to work out what the preference dividends are. So 5% of 100,000 is 5,000. If this figure up here for dividends paid, this 25,000, is both the ordinary dividends paid and the preference dividends paid, and I know that the preference dividends paid is 5,000, if I subtract 5,000 from this, that should leave me with what the ordinary dividends were. So 5,000 from 25,000 is 20,000. That's the ordinary dividends that were paid out this year, divided by the number of ordinary shared or issued ordinary shares. Really, we can see it up here. The firm has already issued 550,000, so be careful not to use the authorized share capital, just the issued. If we put that into the calculator, then some rounding will be required, but that's going to give us a figure of 3.64 cent. So that's the first part done. Next, now we need to actually calculate the dividend yield. So dividend yield, and the formula for dividend yield then is the dividend per share, div per share, divided by the market price, and remember, when doing it, these must both be in the same denominations. So if the dividend per share is in cent, the market price must also be put down in cent. Alternatively, you could have them both in euros, but we tend to use cent for both of them. And then because it's a yield, it's a percentage we're looking for, so we're going to multiply our answer by 100 again to get our percentage. So the div per share, first of all, we worked that out in the last part. It's 3.64 cent. And the market price is generally given underneath the balance sheet here. The market value of one ordinary share is 85 cent. Now, be very careful. We want it in cent. So instead of putting in 0.85 euros, we will put it down as 85 under here. So both the top is in cent and the bottom is in cent. Multiply our answer by 100. A little bit of rounding will be required again, but we'll get an answer of 4.28 when we round to 2 decimals. And again, percent, the unit is very important in this question.